So now that we have our storyboard complete, let's go ahead and stage our shot. We're going to bring in our actual rigs into our scene, load out our temporary ones, and just get everything set up so we're good to go. So hopping over into my scene file, remember we created a shot setup a while ago. And in this particular shot setup, what I've done is I've gone and added in these references for our objects. We just have our little sliver here, so that's pretty much where we're at. Now, what I can do is come up here to File and Reference Editor here. And this time I'm going to hit the plus icon, but remember we're going to scroll down here on the sidebar, and we're going to check this Merge into Selected Namespaces. That way we're not getting a whole bunch of extra stuff. And I'll just start by loading in the Treasure Final Rig version 1. Which apparently I've spelled incorrectly. I'd probably want to fix that beforehand, but since I have the incorrect spelling there, with that extra B in there, I'm just going to commit to it for now, but that is something I would want to fix beforehand. So let's go ahead and reference that. And you'll see our gem loads in there. Notice this time around, it does not have the prefix. We can hit the F key to frame up on this. And we're going to take the placement control and just move this till the gem is sort of in the same location as this gem. Doesn't need to be in the exact location, but it should be close. And it seems this gem is a bit bigger than that gem, which is okay. We can think about the screen space it's going to take up. We could bury it more if we wanted to. We could also adjust its scale to be smaller as well. Not quite sure how we factored the scale on this gem, but I feel like we wanted it to be bigger, so I'm going to leave it be bigger, and we can just place that here and get it to be where we want it to be. So I'll just place it so it's slightly bigger inside of that one. Now, with that in place, I could come into my references here, and I could find the treasure that is not the rig, which is going to be this one here, and I can unload it. I could also select it and select this button here, which is going to be the remove reference, and I'll remove that. And you can see now we've replaced it with our rig. Likewise, with the character, we can do the same thing. We can come back into our reference editor. I accidentally closed mine out, so we'll just come in here to reference editor. We can hit the plus icon. Make sure, once again, that merge into selected namespaces is still active. Navigate to our characters folder, robot rigging, and grab that final rig and reference that in. And with this one, we'll grab the placement control once again. Make sure it's the placement control. That's the reason it's called placement. It's for placing the character in the scene. And we will move this backwards. And I'll press the F key. Now here you can make a decision if you want to move it upwards with the placement control. I usually like to keep the placement control at 0, 0, so I'm going to leave it at 0, 0, but I could use the control here to move this up so that it's located in the same spot. And then since with our storyboard we decided to have this off screen, I might experiment with what that entails, and you'll see we have a little bit of an issue here where we can't really make that happen. So we might just start with the robot on screen for the shot, have it part of the establishing shot, and just have it moving forward maybe a little bit slower. That will get us set up. So let's go here to File, Reference Editor. Let's go ahead and find the robot model, and we can unreference that. And now we'll just have our rigs in here with nothing extra, and of course our ground plane, which I don't know if I ever gave a layer to. Let me just name this Sand Dunes. And we can give this a layer over here, and we could set this as a reference. And we'll just make this our ground. Now, we probably should have referenced the set into the scene and just made a completely fresh scene with that referenced in. So that is a bit of an issue. We could do some saving and kind of back out and make that happen. So how would we do that? Well, I could save scene as, and this is currently in my set scene here. Well, I need a new folder in my scenes. We have set props characters. We'll create a new folder here called animations. And in this animation, we'll just go ahead and make this our robot animation 01. And I could specify with a subfolder what we want it to be, but since we're only doing one animation here, I'll just set that up and save. Now, what I could do is I could go to recent files down here, come to shot setup 03. In my reference editor, I could clear out my references. So you could just minus there, remove, minus there, remove. Set up some layers and some naming. So I'll name this Sand Dunes. Give it a layer here. Make this our ground. underscore L for layer, just in case we have anything else named ground. Set that to a reference. I'll set these up here. I'll grab them both and create a layer. We'll name this lights underscore layer. Save. And I'll do a file save scene as, but this time I'm going to save it as shot setup 04. That way I have a clean file. I might also want to do a file optimize scene size just in case there's extra nodes from our references. Hit OK. Make sure our ground plane doesn't have any transform history, which it shouldn't. Okay, we modeled that correctly. And what we'll do is we'll go back to our recent files, come to our robot animation 01. We can delete out the sand dunes, the shot cam, and the lights. So we're just keeping in our references. Do an optimize scene size to get rid of the additional files. Come to File Reference Editor, and this time reference in the shot scene. So we'll just hit plus to create reference. Scroll down here to merge, make sure that's set. And going back into our folders here, navigate to our set, shot setup 04, and reference. And now you'll see that we have set this up so we have multiple references. We can switch to our shot cam. And now, if we needed to make a change to our animation set, we can do that. So nothing in this Maya scene is permanent so far. The only thing that is going to be permanent at the end of the day is the keyframes. And this is generally how we want to work in animation. We want to make sure that it is as flexible as possible. That way, if a change needs to be made, it doesn't get done in a destructive manner or an isolated manner, meaning that as we're referencing, if we use this dune setup in multiple shots, it will update in all those references, and we won't have to do it on an individual basis per file, okay? So once we have this set, we can just go ahead and save once more. Make sure you're saving this over the robot animation shot, and we're all set up and ready to animate. So that is going to stage our shot. It's going to get our character in here. It's going to get all our scenes in place. We might need to make a few final adjustments. For example, I think I will move this robot into the sky here, so that way it looks like it's coming from further away perhaps, and it just has better negative space around it. So make any adjustments you see fit, and make sure you save if you make those adjustments before you close out or you move forward. So what I want you to do as a challenge is go ahead and set up your own animation scene. You're going to reference in your set, you're going to reference in your character, you're going to reference in your props, and go ahead and save that out as a separate animation file from everything else. If you need to clean up your set scene like I did, be sure to do that. And then once you have that all set up, we'll start in with the animation process and getting this animation underway.